I wish I was seeing all of you in person. I know we're all kind of over this. Hey, I miss you guys.
We miss you. Are you okay?
I know. I just miss people.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you who I don't miss is my husband. So if I could just like trade him out, he's around a lot.
Lots of togetherness lately.
Well, and he
Your
became
radio
a
family.
remote employee. Yeah, he became a remote employee before COVID. And so then I was home with the baby. Just too much.
No. This has been hard. This is hard for all of us. Like, we just need to all like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what to do. Like, it's so overwhelming that it's almost like you can't even handle it. So you just have to say, I am doing my best. I am doing everything that I can do, and I am allowed to take a breath and make mistakes.
Yes.
Because it never works. It never works the way it's supposed to ever. I've tried so hard to minimize like crazy things not working, but there's always something.
We watch Hamilton a lot. That helps.
Gosh, I'm obsessed with Hamilton. Like, I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
I have a problem. I've been practicing really hard. I'm trying to wrap guns and ships. Because I'm a weirdo. It's the only thing that makes me happy.
You gotta have a distraction.
Yeah. Like, I'm getting pretty good at it. I mean, for a 39-year-old lady who doesn't rap.
Carpenter, if you need a pick-me-up, watch A Pursuit of Happiness with Will Smith.
That one kind of makes me sad a little bit. You mean like because you don't live, because you're not homeless?
No,
it makes me sad though. I know it ends up good, but like it makes me sad at first.
It tells us that, you know, with hard work and determination, no matter what your situation is, it will get better.
That's what I keep hoping. It just like life seems to just keep saying worse.
Unless you've actually experienced homelessness, then you go back into that PTSD trauma of it all.
That's why I just watch Hamilton on repeat.
Hamilton, yes.
Yeah. Maybe we'll have time. Maybe I can sing a song for you.
And I keep telling myself, smile more, talk less.
But that's not good advice.
No.
I mean, it's not. That's the bad advice.
I know, but it's me.
I keep singing Right Hand Man because that's how I feel right now. We are outgunned, outmanned, outnumbered, outplanned. I mean, I'm just like, that's where we are. Yeah.
So, Shandell, I think you saw, but my child, y'all, who's 4.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Has started like sassing us, but in Hamilton quotes. And so the first one was she wanted some Reese's cups I had. And she's like, hey, Mama, I see that candy bar. Can I have that? And I was like, no, that's mine. And she goes, ugh, you are the worst burr.
You are the worst burr.
You're the worst burr.
Love it.
And then yesterday, my husband was emptying out her kiddie pool because it'd been sitting there like a mosquito home for days. And he was about to dump it out, and she looked at him and said, if you dump that pool out, I'll see you on the other side of the war.
Oh my gosh. Did she get in trouble, or she didn't get in trouble? Wasn't she acting, she was being Eliza at pre-K? Was that your
yeah. She plays Eliza. She plays Hamilton on the playground.
That's what that is hilarious to me. She's 4. That is hilarious.
I mean, she'll be 5, but like and nobody else is allowed to be Eliza apparently.
Oh my goodness. That's amazing. Okay, let's get started. Let's do one more minute because we've got 119 people right now. And I don't think you guys can hear the dinging. Can y'all hear the dinging too? Yeah. It's kind of like, it sets off my ADHD and then I can't focus on what I'm saying because I'm like the doorbell, like the dog and up. I'm squirrel. So I just need to wait a second. 121, that's pretty good. Don't forget to put your first and last name in the chat, please, because sometimes it just says, you know, iPhone user 7 or something. So we will go back through that chat and print it and highlight everybody and make sure we all are getting credit. Don't stress if something happens and your computer dies or the screen doesn't work, or like just type your name. We got you. Oh, the course code for Schoology. I'm actually going to walk you guys through that here in a minute because you don't have to join it right now. But we do have a support group. And I know that sounds funny, but that's what it's called. It's a group, right? I know, right? I'm like, we have a support group for you. But we have made a group that I'm going to walk you through once we get started. We can, I think it's going to be, I don't know if any of you were on our Facebook page last year, but this way it'll be in Schoology and I can share files and everybody doesn't have to be on Facebook and you have to have code to get in so we don't have, you know, random people getting in because we have purchased all these materials. And when the pandemic happened, we didn't have time to send them home with our students. And so I took matters into my own hands and I scanned them, and I'm not supposed to do that. But I did it anyway because we had this stuff sitting in our classrooms. And so this way I can still share those things with you so that we all do not have to do our own thing and cut apart all of a reader for each of us and scan it so that you can utilize what we have as a district and not share it outside of the district. And I'm hoping that I don't ever go to jail for copying materials that we purchased with the district money. You guys would be there, right? You'd be like, let her out. We just needed the materials. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. So today, I did a presentation earlier today on kind of how to take a lesson plan and make it a Google slide presentation. And you can see that presentation as soon as I get the video processed all the way. I will put the whole video in there. And I'm also going to show you where that will be. So this presentation, oh, somebody's texting me that they're waiting to get in. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, okay, hopefully everybody's in now. So today we're going to focus on using digital tools to improve dyslexia intervention or reading intervention, just intervention, reading instruction with phonics and instruction with spelling and things like that. So our goals for this training is that you will leave today, and I think it's funny that I said you will leave with an overview because I didn't want to say that you will leave today with the total ability to use all of the following things seamlessly because it is hard. It's a lot of work and we need to give ourselves time to learn these things. It's a lot. I have not learned all these things and I'm trying to learn them as fast as I can. So we're going to talk about Schoology a little bit. And I know you've had a lot of Schoology training, but I wanted to give you an idea for how to set up your class. And then Google Drive, resources, Cami, Peardeck, Bitmoji, Flipgrid, and Wilson. We're going to try to knock these all out. So I wish there was a way for me to turn off that doorbell, but I don't know how right now. Stuff like this, right? Because if I turn that off, then you can't hear my videos. So my biggest advice for you is going to be keep it simple. Use what you know. So for example, if you read the course description, it said that I was going to talk about how to use Teams. And I'm going to be an adult here and admit that I tried to learn Teams. And I got really mad at Teams and couldn't figure it out. And it seemed very complicated. It almost seemed like Schoology. I don't know if you've messed with it, but it had like an assignments tab and a files tab, and it had a video. I was like, so I struggled with that for about 4 hours. And I said, you know what? I do not know everything. And Zoom is still letting educators have more than, have up to 100 people in a session. And Zoom is still taking the cap off. It's not 40 minutes. So the district has paid for Teams, but if you don't know how to use it yet, I don't care if you use Zoom. I mean, it's just hard, guys. Everything's different. We had to learn It's Learning, and we had to learn Zoom, and we had to learn Google, and now we've got to learn OneDrive and Teams. Someone is calling me right now, and I can't answer that. So yeah, it's just, it's too much. So take it one day at a time, and don't, go crazy with your bitmoji and everything else. Will be okay. So start small and add things as you get comfortable. And if you aren't comfortable or confident with a new app or tool, just teach the lesson with the tools you already have. So what you can do is you can actually use your physical materials. You can have your foundations chart behind you. You can have your Wilson cards behind you. You can hold up your word cards to the screen. That is fine until you get, want to go farther. Okay, so setting up your Schoology course. So if you teach intervention, like with Wilson Reading System, or if you teach just words with a group in your class, most of you guys who are secondary don't know this, but in elementary, students are pulled out usually for intervention, even for resource. And so those kids are on a teacher's role. And we have asked them to set up your classes, but I don't know if that has happened with everything that's been going on. So what I think you should do, because you don't have an e-school role, is I think you should make a different course for each group that you have if you're elementary. If you're secondary, you've already got that. It's going to be set up for you because they come during A1 or they come during B2. But in elementary, I think that you shouldn't just have one course. To make it easier for you, I would give each group a course. And I've mentioned this, and I'm just going to mention it briefly. I have sent out to principals the advice when they changed things from you needed to do. At first they said there were going to be virtual teachers and there were going to be in-person teachers. And then they changed that. And I almost, I'm sure you guys all too almost had like a panic attack about it, because like, what do you mean? We have to do both simultaneously. And intervention is targeted, and it is explicit, and it involves me correcting you and checking you as we go. And so my recommendation was the only way that we could really do this effectively, and I keep emphasizing this, if your kids are not grouped together for where they are. I've been working all year with a student and we are on step 3. He would not need to start a class with a kid who's just starting the program, who will take a year to get where he is. So I suggested to administration that we deliver intervention, small group intervention lessons virtually. So whether the kid is at school or the kid is in your building or at their house, they could log in and you could teach it through a video conferencing software so that you don't have to teach kids that are at home and kids that are at school in step 3. You would be doing double the work all the time. And so I can send that to you guys too. And it's also, I talked about it in the 4-hour content training that we had. So I have given you guys a weekly template for WRS, and you could copy this folder to your resources and edit it for your lessons or for just words. And I'm gonna actually walk you through that in a video so that I don't make any mistakes. So we're gonna watch this little video about how you can use Schoology to do intervention. And I made this video, so it's actually relevant and pertinent to you.
Excuse me, I just have a question.
Okay, I'm gonna hold on.
Are you saying that when I do small group with the kids that are live here, and if I have some that are the same ability, I do them on Zoom all at the same time?
So do you, I'm sorry, I don't know you. Do you teach a dyslexia intervention group?
Yeah.
So that's
everything, so.
Okay.
Second grade.
Oh, you're a second grade teacher?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't do dyslexia intervention. So dyslexia, you can still utilize this, but dyslexia intervention is our tier 3 program with Wilson Reading System. But I think that you can take this idea, because if you've got kids that all need to work on this skill, if they all need to work on R-controlled vowels, and you've got 2 kids at home that need to work on R-controlled vowels and 3 in your class that need to work on R-controlled vowels, you're gonna have to either do that twice.
Right.
They're gonna just watch you teach other people, which I'm like, what is that? That's not very, exciting or engaging. And so if you could project your lesson on the smart board through like what I'm doing right now, if you could do what I'm doing right now and put it on the smart board and then have those children logged in. And then I know that the advice is that kids can't always log on at that time, but then if it's intervention, watching me teach another kid isn't going to be useful, I feel like, because we don't know what they're doing. They could be writing, spelling anything, reading anything. And so I mean, they've said you could post a video if the kid's not there, but honestly, personally, I think with intervention, that's a waste of time. Because if the kids are watching a video of me correct Heather, that has nothing to do with them. And so I said, I think the only way that you could really make it effective, either you're not going to be effective for the kids that are at home, or you are going to have to do it twice and kill yourself, because it's going to take you all day long to get to everybody. And so I said, I think the only solution that I can come up with is to try to do it all virtual, even if they're there, which I don't know, I wish there was a better solution. The other issue I'm worried about is people who are pulling groups out. And so, that's going to be, we're doing the best that we can. But it's hard.
Well, thank you for the information. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I'm hoping that is a solution that might work. And then let me say this, when we do go fully virtual, they will already know how to do it. So, so let me show you guys this video for like how to access things and set up your Schoology course. It's just an option. Show you step by step how to add yourself to our reading intervention group for Schoology. So to get to our group, you're gonna click groups and then go to my groups. And then you are going to click join group. So after you click join group, you are going to put the access code for our group in there and click join. And let me go get that for you. And so what you're going to do is go to the access code here. Whoops. And you'll enter it in that box. So I don't know why it's not letting me highlight it. Hold on. So when you go back to group, you're going to enter the access code here. I'll make it bigger so you can see it. So that is how you join the group. So after we are done with our presentations and our videos, we will upload them into this group. And if you need to pause that, you can go back later and watch it and type it in, and we'll put that in the chat. But in this group, we've got 2 discussions. We have a Just Words parking lot where you can post questions that you have, and we will answer them as soon as we can. And then we also have a Wilson reading system parking lot. That is under discussions. And you can post any questions you have there. Then we have resources. And I am slowly but surely adding everything that was in the live binder to this group, but it's taking a long time. So this is just the link to the live binder, so you don't have to go digging for it. That's the live binder folder in my Google Drive, and this is the actual live binder, and the password is LRSD. And so everything that's in my Google folder is also over here. And then most of my virtual stuff is in AMI right now. I'm probably just going to call that virtual learning and change it, but I haven't had time. And then some other resources that are helpful. Here is the virtual learning and AMI support. So I've got a folder for Equipped for Reading Success, Foundations, Just Words, WRS, and then I've got I'm going to put some training resources in there from Wilson. And then this is a shell that you can copy to your resources. And so I have all the student readers for Wilson Reading System, the student notebook, and these workbooks that they uploaded to their website for extra practice that actually didn't come with the 4th edition. They're only with the 3rd edition right now, but I have them all saved. You can get them on the website, but you've got to log in and hunt them down. And so these have some really great independent activities that students can do. Oop, too big. And so these are good for independent work, and you could use them on Kami, which I will show you in a little bit. And another thing in this group is that I've kind of set up how I thought I might organize my Wilson group, and you could do the same thing with Just Words. You could just copy this and edit it for your needs. But right now I've got a link to our video conference in Teams, and I'm having difficulty with Teams. It's becoming very challenging. So right now I'm just going to change that to Zoom. Zoom is still free for teachers. It still does not have a cap at 40 minutes, and it does not have a cap anymore for 3 students. You can have up to 100 students on there. And so the district has paid for Teams. There's also this app, Conferences, that I have not had time to learn yet, but it is something that's within our Schoology group that you can set up a new conference, and it has video capabilities, but I don't know yet how to share screens and things like that. So you can go here, and I just said I did it by week. This is the page that students will click on to show them that every B2, this is what they're going to go to. You can set that up to be a recurring meeting. And then every week, I just put what I thought your assignments might be. So we have word list charting for Monday, and then I recorded a video I recorded the audio for the directions for this because our students have trouble reading. So students can click this and hear me tell them what to do. Oh, you can just click view. You don't have to download it. This year we will be recording our word list charting on Schoology. I don't know why that sounds weird. To complete this assignment, turn to the page. So it doesn't sound like that whenever I do it there. I was trying to record multiple things. So I think that is good for our babies that have trouble reading, because it's going to be hard for them with all of these instructions. So you can always read the instructions aloud or do a video about the instructions so that they can access it easier. That is listed. And then I left the words there, but if when students submit in Schoology, there's actually a way for them to submit an audio or video right in Schoology. So I am going to show you guys how to do Flipgrid, but there is a video here that I'm going to show you that this
Schoology makes it really easy
tells them how to do it.
your voice or a video of yourself.
Okay, I don't know why that video isn't working in here, so I am going to show you that video over here instead. And then we'll go ahead and I'm going to show you the rest of the resources. We're going to watch that guy do that though, because there is a way for kids to actually submit responses through video or recording in Schoology without doing an external app. So let me go back here. Something that could be awesome for assignments. And then for dictation, I have, please upload a picture of your dictation page from the lesson on Tuesday. And I've got the directions here again in an audio format. I have a link to have them make a copy in Google Slides of a fillable page, but it is really important for our students to physically write because it gives them that kinesthetic learning, and typing is just not writing. And so I don't love this option, but students are able to actually type in the boxes. And it did generate a copy for each student. And I'm going to show you a video for how to make a copy for each student. You can use the Google Resources assignment app in Schoology, or you can do this other little trick I'm going to show you. But I honestly think the best thing to do is to have students tilt their laptop down to where you can see them writing their dictation in their book if possible, because that way you can correct them in real time. But if you want them to submit their assignment, they can always take a photo of it, or whatever you come up with. I would love some ideas for how to do this in a better way. So I went ahead and put in the word list, the dictation, and then I went ahead and added a retell, the story assignment that you can choose to use. And when you grade this assignment, you're going to get the rubric that comes straight from the end of step assessment, and you can just click the boxes and score that. And so basically, students could record themselves telling you what the story was about, or they could make a video of them just telling you exactly what they read. And then you could go back and watch it and score it with the retail rubric and actually give them a grade. So I think that this might be something that you guys could copy and use. And if you wanted to do it again, you know, you could just you could get the first week the way that you like it, or once you get into a good rhythm, and then you can copy that to your resources and just make a copy of it and change the dates and the page numbers. And then I also have this folder that's just got all the student materials that they might need for this lesson. So my students on book 3, so I have the reader linked right here. And then I have the magnetic letter tile Jamboard that's going to make him a copy every time we click on it. I really want to find a better way to do this, but right now this is kind of my favorite one. And this is a pretty cool tool because it's Jamboard. It's kind of like a virtual whiteboard through Google. They can move these pieces around to build words. And I didn't even show earlier people this tool. They can do this, and then they can bring these over to Scoop, whatever they need, and then check this out. You also have a whiteboard that students can write on with a pen, la 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 la, and they can also type and erase and point to things. So you've got that. You can also click clear. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. So we're gonna hit back. And then there's also just a blank space. So obviously these tools work a lot better if you have a stylus or an iPad. So, you know, it's challenging to try to meet everybody where they are. So we are going to be sending out a list of some kind of analog options that work with all devices. And then I just have a copy of the dictation page here, which students could write on in Kami and submit as well. So that is how you can kind of maybe set up your course in Schoology and use the resources in our group. Okay, so here is the video for how the students can submit. Here's the video for how students can submit a video or audio into Schoology. And so I am going to, actually that's not the video, hold on just a minute. Oh, technology. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I'm gonna find it for you because I think that this will be awesome for wordless charting and for listening to students read. Because if we can tell them what they need to read and then they can actually record themselves reading for us, we can go back and grade that. We don't have to pull them individually. And I think that we can maybe even do that for the WADE, for the WIST, all of those things. So I've got to find that video. And it's apparently, it didn't work when I recorded it. I thought that you guys would be able to hear it and it sounded weird. So, oh, you know where it is? I'm so sorry. I hate this stuff. That's why I tried to record myself doing everything beforehand so I wouldn't make mistakes and not be able to find stuff. It was in the assignment. So this is what your kids would see. They can actually go click on this and go listen to, it's only 2 minutes about how
Schoology makes it really easy to record your voice or a video of yourself and turn that into your teacher. Let's take a look at how that works. We'll demonstrate this first by looking at a discussion. Scrolling down a little bit in this discussion gets you to a place where you can type your response. But if you look just below the box, there's a little microphone here that you can click on to record your voice or a video of yourself. We'll do just voice for now. And all you do is click Start Recording. I'm now recording and I can give my response to the discussion. And when you're done, you click Stop Recording. At this point, you can play back the recording to listen to what you just said. And if you don't like it, you can click the X up top to delete it and start over, or you can insert the recording. When you click that, you'll see that your recording is attached to your response. Let's go ahead and post this. And here's the posting with the file attached. You'll see on the right these two arrows. If I hover over them, it says the file is being converted. It takes a few minutes for Schoology to process the file so that it can be viewed or listened to. Now you can click that link, but it downloads the file, which is not something you generally want to do. So let's refresh this screen and take a look at how it looks when it does get finished processing. So here's one I recorded earlier that's done, and if I click this play button, I can now play the recording. Another place you can turn in a recorded response is on an assignment. Let's take a look at this one. And to do the recording, you click Submit Assignment. And right on this screen here, you'll see the microphone icon. If you click that, you can once again record your audio or your video. The other common places you can record are in a test or a quiz, if your teacher enables that, and in a message. If you open up a message, you'll once again see the microphone icon to do a recording.
So I think that that is a great way to help our students access and show us what they know, even if they have trouble reading and writing. And so somebody was asking me, where can you get that Jamboard link? And so I have it in the resources, and it's under the Dyslexia Intervention shell. And then for week 1, I should probably put it in a different place too, but for week 1, it was under student materials. And so ideally, I need to make a different Jamboard for each step so they don't have tiles that they don't need, and I just haven't had time to do that, but you can totally do that. It's gonna make you a copy and save it to your drive. I wanted to show you how to make a document so that it copies so that the students do not get your links and your original files and edit them. And so in your drive, if you have a file, for example, this presentation, when you go to share it, right now I have it set to anyone on the internet with this link can view. I have to change it to where it says edit, just for a minute. Don't change it that way forever. So I have to change it to where it says, I can't see because my bar's in the way, editor. And then I'm gonna copy it. And then I'm gonna go back and change it to view. So what you're gonna wanna do when you give a link to students is you're going to want to go to the, I'm just gonna make a new slide here so that I don't mess it up. So you would give students this link. First, you're gonna paste it. And then what you have to do is you've gotta go, see where it says edit right here? You take everything past edit and delete it. And then you type in the word copy. And now, whenever anybody clicks this link, it automatically makes a new copy for them so that they are not, so that they have their own copy saved in their drive. And that's something that I really want to reiterate. It's really important that when you use the Live Binder and the Google Drive that you make copies for yourself of anything you want to edit, because if somehow I've made it to where it's edit instead of view, which I try not to do that, but if I have, then I'll go back and be like, oh, my presentation is totally different now because I've shared this with all of the reading teachers. And so it's important to make a copy of that. And how you do that is you can just go say, you want to make a copy of this for your drive. You're just going to click here. Oh, actually, that's not going to do it. Don't do a PDF, because you can't edit that anyway. So say you want to make a copy of this. Oh, why am I only clicking things that aren't Google Docs? Let's do one that's a little bit easier. I think these are all PDFs. So you just click File, make a copy. Let me try this one. I'm gonna go here. And if it's view only, you're just gonna click File, make a copy. And this will save this in your personal Google Drive. So then you can edit it. So if you were trying to edit one of my files and it says, hey, I can't edit it, you just have to make your own copy. So let's get back to the presentation. So I want to show you quickly how you can add Cami, which is a Google add-on to edit PDFs. So I'm going to show you how you can annotate a PDF or edit a PDF in Google Drive. So the first thing you need to do is go to your settings in your Drive and click on Settings. You're going to see over here where it says Manage Apps. You're going to click on that. And I have it already downloaded, but if you don't have it, you can go to Connect More Apps. And what you want to search for is Cami, K-A-M-I. So once you get that, you're going to click this button here, which means like Add to Drive. And I've already got it installed. You're going to need to click Install. But once that's done, when you open a PDF, this is a PDF of a lesson plan that we're going to be working with. I am going to click Open with this Circle K, Annotate with Cami. So that is going to convert everything in this PDF to where I can now type in it. So you will need to save it when you're done, but you can type the student's name, you can type your group 1, whatever you need to. You can go in here and you can change these words, you can erase them. Hold on. So you can put in your own words. And actually it's kind of nice because you can type a little bit more than what they let you do in Adobe. So that is how you can edit a PDF. All right. Okay, and I'm gonna try to just keep it moving because we've got a lot to cover in a short amount of time. So I want to show you guys how to take a normal Google slide and make it a Pear Deck slide. So I'm gonna walk you through this right now. So this is a Google slide presentation that I made, and I want my student to be able to mark some of our words. So when I get here, you have to do the same thing with Cami, with Pear Deck. When you do the thing where you went to Google add-ons and you added Cami, you're gonna search for Pear Deck. And so I've already added. So I'm gonna click Pear Deck for Google Slides add-on. And then this little toolbar will pop up for me. If I want students to draw on the slide where they can scoop or put brevs and macrons, I'm gonna click this. And now this has made this an interactive slide, and it's gonna have this little pear on it so I know that it's there. And so to show you what students will see when you're gonna click Start Lesson, and then you're gonna make it instructor paced if you are doing a video conference with them. And then you have to sign in, and I believe the students have to sign in too. And so I've actually got a link for you guys for how to log into Microsoft that's in my Flipgrid video. And then this lesson is gonna pop up for me as the teacher, and I'm gonna have to give my students the link to sign in. And so I am now, Sandy Bryles kindly showed me how to be a student in her class. And so I am gonna show you what students see. Sorry, I have too many windows open now. Whenever you do that. And so this was when Sandy showed me how she could, what the student sees when they log in. Whoops, sorry.
Thanks.
And the sound is kind of messed up, but it's not too bad. I heard that Pear Deck is being paid for. And so students can click this little, I almost want to just like mute it.
Here, I did this as
So this is what happens when she starts her Pear Deck lesson. The student can see this slide, and they also have these tools. So if you wanted them to scoop, you could just scoop on their screen right there. And then they can mark it and tell you that they're closed, so there's going to be a breb. And then she can click view student responses, and she can see every student's slide. It doesn't say their name underneath it, but I think that if you have the premium one, that it will. And so my initial suggestion was to maybe ask each of them to use a different color. I don't know. Or just say, hey, can you show me yours now? And so this is when she clicks view student responses, she can see what I did. And so this is what she sees. And so if you have more than one student, which you probably will, let's look at a video for how you as a teacher can see their responses just in general.
After students respond to one of your interactive questions, it's time to share the answers with the group. You can display student responses anonymously on the projector screen by clicking Show Responses. This is an exciting part in any Pear Deck lesson because now students have the opportunity to see what their peers think. It's also a great opportunity to discuss different viewpoints, different approaches to the same problem, or show a struggling student that they aren't the only one who needs to slow down or keep practicing. Depending on what question you asked, you might like to change the way answers are being displayed. You can choose from different layout options in the top left corner of the screen. There's List View, which shows all the answers in a long, scrolling list. Grid View, which tiles the answers. And Overlay View, which layers the answers on top of each other. This is particularly helpful for multiple choice, drawing, and draggable questions. Once you've gone through a few slides, you might notice that students keep changing their answers after you've clicked Show Responses. That can be distracting. To keep students from changing their answers, you can click the Lock Responses button on your toolbar. Just click the button again if you want to unlock responses. When you move to the next slide, students will be able to answer that one right away. This lock button has a special secret timer built into it. Hold the button down to see 3 options. Click one of them to start the countdown. The countdown shows on the projector view as well as the students' screens. Once it gets to 0, their screens will lock automatically. Now you can be sure that you've given ample notice for students to finish up, and you can show their answers without worrying that they'll change. With a Pear Deck Premium license, you have access to more tools for managing student responses. Begin by opening your dashboard on a different screen or device. As students are responding, you can see their answers forming without displaying them to the whole class. As you see great examples coming in, go ahead and star those. When it's time to show the responses, only the ones you starred will appear on the projector view. Now you can discuss with the class why these were exemplary responses. Similarly, if you notice some common misconceptions developing, you can star those alongside some exemplars. When you show responses, you can discuss the subtle nuance between the misconceptions and the standout responses. To show all the responses, click Clear Stars. Students usually really enjoy seeing their answers on the screen. The anonymity makes it safe for students to respond without fear of being wrong or looking stupid. At the same time, it can also make some students feel at liberty to say whatever they like. If you see an inappropriate answer, you can hide it using the dashboard view. By watching answers come in before showing them, you can even catch it before it causes a problem. Just click the 3 dots below the answer and click Hide. If a student is being too disruptive to be part of class, you can completely block them from the session. Click on the student roster, find the student in question, and block them.
Okay, so that is kind of how it will look on your end. So if everybody has that slide and they can write on it, you will be able to view that. And you could do, like they said, you could tile it, you could do whatever you needed to. So we are really getting short on time. I wanted to quickly show you a couple of Bitmoji classrooms that were pretty cool that some people did. This person set up all the foundations cards. You can click them, and there's the link to a board here. And then she also, I have too many windows open, has these books, these student readers, which is super cool. And so this isn't the full reader, but it's the passages that they gave us on Wilson whenever the pandemic started. And sorry, I'm clicking so many things. I've got too many things open. She's got the posters for foundations. And I personally think Bitmoji is really cool, but it's also a little bit overwhelming sometimes because you're trying to learn all these other things. So I'd say take it slow. She has some real books here. The One and Only Ivan, Percy Jackson, and she's got links to the audiobook versions of those. And this is a place where I feel like we could add in some part 10 for Wilson and some listening comprehension for those kids just to keep them, you know, interested, and let us actually read a book that we really enjoy and share that with them. And then possibly students could respond via video or audio about how they felt about what you read. There's also the workbooks in here. I love the way this is set up, like a real classroom almost, and it makes it a little more personal. And then I made a couple of videos for Flipgrid, for how to use Flipgrid, before I knew that we did not have to do Flipgrid necessarily. It's not fully integrated with Schoology the way that they can respond. And so I'm going to save that for the very end because I think it's a really cool tool, but I think that we can kind of do Flipgrid almost in Schoology with the video responses and not have to have students sign into a different thing. So I want to show you the interactivities. I know a lot of Just Words teachers know about them, but your Wilson Language Training Professional Learning Community, if for some reason you cannot get on, it says your license is expired or something, your license is for life. So you need to go down here and click Contact Us and tell them you need it to be renewed. When we went to training last summer, if you went last summer, everybody got logged in when we did the training in July. And so you would have gotten an email probably in early July saying, hey, just click this so we know you want to renew. And that probably, you know, got lost or it's in your junk mail folder. So all you have to do is email them and say, hey, I need this back. But when the pandemic hit, they gave all the Just Words, all the Wilson teachers access to the Just Words interactivities. And so if you went to training this year, your quizzes and things that you were supposed to take are in that class. So you have to go to your transcript and take those quizzes. So you have access to this too. So the interactivities are here. Before the pandemic, Wilson Reading System teachers did not have access to these. And so these are another way that you can build words and use what you would do on your typical screen with students. The only way that a student could move the tiles here is if you gave them remote control of your screen. And so you can build the words here and clear them. You can use the syllable frames. And so I just wanted to show you that really quickly. This gives you explicit instructions for how to use them, and it also has the scope and sequence for just words. So if you wanted to use these, you would know which unit to click on, because when you go here, there's a lot of units when you click here. And so if you don't know which one you are in, you could go to the scope and sequence that's linked here. And then our trainer from Wilson gave us a video walkthrough for how to use those. And then this is not ready yet, but apparently coming soon. And I don't know if Just Words and Wilson teachers will have access, but we did talk to the company and they said that it would be free for any district that's using Foundations. And it's just, they're calling it the Fun Hub. And they also told us they're going to develop similar resources for Just Words and Wilson Reading System. So quickly, I want to show you what this is.
Welcome. We are really excited to share a sneak peek of Foundation's Virtual Resource Hub, or the Fun Hub for short. This is a teacher-facing hub of resources to support educators teaching Foundations in remote and hybrid settings this fall. Let's take a look. This is the hub landing page for Level K. The buckets of resources are the same for all the levels. You will have video and print-based resources by unit, an interactivities app for the specific level, access to a digital copy of the teacher's manual if you own a hard copy of the manual, a way to easily get back to the PLC, which already has a ton of resources, demos, and expert tips. We will be providing teacher guidance, including an orientation video to the hub, and a repository of templates you can use to personalize worksheets for your students. Let's take a look inside the resources by unit. Right here on the home page, you can pick the unit you want. Once inside the unit, you choose the week. And for each week, we provide video demonstrations of the new concepts taught in that week. You can watch the video as a model for your own teaching, or you could send the video home to students to review or preview the new concept. Also for each week, we provide videos of targeted lessons. These can be shared with students, and it would be great if they could be facilitated by support staff. For every unit, we provide a video for the home support team. The videos provide the overview of the concepts taught in that unit, along with some tips to support students at home.
So this is not available yet, but when it is, guys, I'm so excited. I think this is something that they have needed to do for a long time, but I know that Barbara Wilson very much believes that kids have too much screen time already.
We also
that kids need hands-on activities, and I agree with her, but this is not a normal, time. And so they've developed all those. I think they started with Foundations because that's going to impact the most kids, and hopefully they will get us some things for Just Words and Wilson. If for some reason you don't have access to those activities and you had access to the Wilson Reading System, I'm talking about the interactivities for Just Words, you just need to email them and let them know, because it should be there. They told me it would still be there. I do have a video about Flipgrid, but I know we've got like 9 minutes left. So since I'm just gonna make an executive decision. Since we did talk about how to do video in Schoology without signing into an external app, why don't I just open up the last 7 minutes for questions and try to figure out what else you guys need help with. Because Flipgrid is just another way that a kid can easily record a video, but they're going to have to sign in. And that's just one more, sign in for them, which is a lot. Or do we want to watch it? Because no one's asking.
Could you use a standard Microsoft Word PowerPoint?
Yeah, you totally could. So there's a lot of interesting things that the district has. We have that Google account, but we also have OneDrive. And so every student has access to that. The issue for me is that I found that a lot of times I know that they're supposed to know their login, and I know that we're supposed to know our logins, but sometimes I go to log into Microsoft 365 and it doesn't work. And so with Google, I can share a link that allows you to see it without signing in. And I can't do that with OneDrive. They have to sign in. So that's when you get all the phone calls like, I can't get it, I can't sign. And then you're just like, this is so stressful, because then poor tech department is dealing with so much right now. And then they get like calls from every kid that can't log into their Microsoft OneDrive. So it's there, and that's what Teams integrates too. But that's been my hardest thing with Microsoft, is that they always have to sign in. And so if kids lose their login or don't know it, it doesn't work. Right.
Hey, Chandel. Will we send home the bags that the kids received that have the tiles, the magnetic board? Will we send that home?
So, okay, foundations, this has been really hard. So I'm so sorry, you guys, because we're just not done with fully realizing this yet. Because at first, it was like, well, we have this stuff, we'll send it home, right? And then when I got to really looking at it, I was like, okay, each of these boards is like $36. And then each of the readers is $10. And then the whiteboard is $12. And I'm like, so if the magnetic letter tiles don't come back,
Oh Lord,
we've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. And these materials that should be used year to year are now not usable. And so for foundations, they had these little at-home materials, and they found money to pay for those. And I thought we might be able to use those too for intervention. And then they said that it didn't make sense because we had these virtual tools. So I'm going to be sending out an email to all of the teachers who are Just Words and Wilson Reading System about what to send home, because what we're going to have to do is we have had to make tip web stickers for the student readers that we're going to have the media specialist barcode and put in, and then check them out, because these are books that have never been sent home. So if we start sending them home, they're not going to come back. So I promise we're working on it as fast as we can. And if parents are annoyed because they already had to come up there and get stuff, then you can tell them to call me and they can yell at me, because we just aren't ready for that. We could send it home. We've got the materials we could, but we're never going to get them back.
I mean, they had a hard enough time keeping up with them in the class.
In your room, I know. Like, you would find magnets.
Numbered everything.
I know. So that's why I was just like, I don't.
Okay,
good.
good.
People ever be able to afford it.
So sure, I do it. You go.
Make sure you. Is that what you find?
Oh yeah, let me show you guys. This is not where it needs to be either, but let me show you this really quickly. Hold on just a second. I've got to
07.
mute. Ready. So, we did this big screening in the spring, and we literally had the training on the screening the day before all of the schools shut down. So some children were not tested, but for Just Words specifically, we screened about 2,400 kids. And then we had the data, and I had to put it in spreadsheets for every school and then sort it by if they were recommended for a high class or a low class. And so I've been working with our computer information systems team to try to make this usable for you guys, so that I don't have to update the specific spreadsheet every single time a kid moves, which is what I'm doing right now, which is insane. And I also do that for our tier 3 kids. And so I'm trying to get that put into this system. So hopefully when this is, because I've checked it and there's still some mistakes. So I think I'm just gonna have to manually go in. But for kids in 5th through 11th grade, we tested them. And so I can go and type in a school name like man. And I can go to recommended course for next year, whenever it pulls up, and sort by that. I'm trying to hide everybody's names so you can't see their names. Don't look at their names. And this will only be for man, and I'm working on making sure that all of the teachers in those buildings have access to that. So it's got their WIST score for spelling, it's got their slasher score in here and what percentile it was in, and then it spit out a course recommendation. So we recommend that kids are grouped either 15 to 30th percentile, 30th to 50th percentile, so that they're going to go at about the same pace. And so there's kids' names over here and ID numbers for kids that are at Man, and it says we're recommending this student for the lower just words class. And it's still going to say just words, but that way, if they're all on the same level, you can take that class a little bit slower, and you don't have like those 3 kids that are like, why are we going so slow? I know this already. You can pace it. And so then you're going to have kids that scored just words. Look at all these babies, y'all. This is a lot of data. So you do not have to give that test at the beginning to see where they are. We've already done it. And then there's tier 2 just word strategic reading high. And then if a student was given this test and they received no services, so they were not SPED, 504, ESOL, and actually there were a couple of 504s, but they scored more screening, that means they scored below the 14th percentile. So, 86% of kids are reading better than them and they're not getting services. So we said we didn't have time, obviously, to give them all the full list because school was canceled the next day for the rest of the year and we couldn't pull them individually. But I sent letters home to any child and emails that scored more screening, and their scores are in here, and I'm going to be giving directions because we recommended that those students be put in a tier 3 class so that we had room for them because they clearly need help. And then after we give the rest of the list and we give the pass, we can go back and say if they really do need the class or not. And if they don't, we can take them out of the class. And so we did a lot of stuff, and then it's like we have to adapt it. Like, I don't know if this is right, like not that kids in GT can't score that low, but like if a kid in GT is scoring that low, what is going on? So they might have just done whatever on the test, but at least you have that data. And then as a teacher, you can access the kids in your building that you can see their scores. So I know it's 2:30. Thank you guys so much. If you've got more questions, we can go back and I'll look in the class, and make sure you join that support group so that we can help each other out, because we're not going to get through this unless we work together. We really aren't. It is a lot. Thank you guys. I know it's just been like bam, bam, bam today.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.